Hey guys, so I had a request from a couple of my students on finding the root, okay? So we're going to talk a little bit about finding the root. It's a really actually important thing to learn how to do for a lot of reasons. A lot of the things that you're going to be doing off of the neck of your guitar, whether you're playing chords, whether you're playing bar chords, whether you're playing power chords, whether you're playing scales, a lot of things, it's really important to know where the root is and how to find the root, okay? So the first thing that I'm going to say is that if you haven't done my lesson on finding the notes on the neck, I posted that last week. If you haven't done the lesson on finding the notes on the neck, I would really highly recommend going and doing that first before we do this lesson. So go do that first and then come back and watch this, okay? Finding the notes on the neck, do that first, okay? So for those of you that have seen that video or know how to find notes on the neck, okay, let's talk about the root for just a second. So the root is the note that kind of like, the easiest way to understand it is it's like the note that kind of defines everything that we're doing, okay? So for instance, if I'm playing a C major chord, the note of C would be my root. If I'm playing an A minor chord, the note of A would be my root. If I'm playing a D7 chord, the note of D would be my root. Does that make sense? And it goes the same way with scales. So for instance, if I'm playing a C major scale, the note of C would be the root, or what's called the tonic, okay? And so on and so on, okay? So the root, it's easy to know what the root is supposed to be because the root typically is what defines it, okay? Now in the number system, it's also always number one, okay? In the number, it's always number one, okay? And it's called the tonic, and I like to call it the root because it is the base, or it's what we're starting from, or where everything's kind of falling down to, okay? So when we play chords, one of the things that I want you guys to kind of learn how to do, and it's really important later on, is that you need to be able to find, so like for instance, when I play this C major chord, I need to know out of all 6 of these notes, okay, which one is the root, but also which one is the root note that's in the bass position. Okay, and what I mean by that is it's which one is the one that comes in first, which was the first one that we play. So for instance, if I play a G chord, okay, this note right here that I'm playing when I play that G chord is the root. And the reason I know that is because it's the G note, because it goes E and then F and then G, okay? So the G is right there. It's on top right there, okay? When I play an E minor chord, okay, I'm looking for what note? I'm looking for the E. And the first E that I come to is right there. That's the E note, okay? When I play a C major chord, okay, this is not the root because what note is that? Well, that's an E because I'm playing that open, right? So actually the first C, if I'm playing a C major chord, the first C or root note that I come to is right here because it's A, B, C. So C would be right there, okay? If I'm playing a D chord, okay, this would be an E, this would be an A, and this would be a D. So actually the D, or the root note, would be right here on the 4th string, okay? Are you kind of seeing what we're doing here? Now, once we know where that root is, okay, it's really important to be able to utilize that, okay? Because whether I'm picking, okay, or whether I'm playing a scale, or whether I'm playing a chord, okay, knowing where that root note is in whatever it is that I'm doing is really important. With strumming, typically what we want to do is we want to play from the root note down, okay? So one of the things that you'll notice is that when you look at your chord sheets, a lot of times they'll have little X's above the strings that they don't want you to play. And the reason they don't want you to play those strings is because, for instance, if I was playing an F chord, right, my F root is actually right here. So there would be X's above these 2 strings because they wouldn't want me to play those 2 strings, because what they're looking for is they want me to play from here down. They want me to play from the root down. When we pick, okay, one of the things that you want to get really, really good at is doing what we call walking bass lines. Now, the way you do walking bass lines on the guitar, okay, is first of all knowing the scales, and knowing how to move around. But the simplest part of that, okay, is when you're picking, your thumb, okay, is always going to start most of the time, typically, unless being told otherwise, is always most of the time going to be starting on what's called the root note. So for instance, if I'm picking a C chord, my thumb would want to be on the C note, like this. Okay, if I was picking a G chord, my thumb would want to be on the G note or the G root. And so on. The reason for that is because then when I play, I get that really nice bass line with that root note kind of overlaying what I'm doing with my picking. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but then you get that really nice bass line that moves around with those root notes. Bum, 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 bum. So you get that really, can you hear that? So you get that really nice bass line moving around by playing that root note with the thumb. Okay? It makes everything that you do on the guitar when you're picking and things like that sound really, really nice. Okay? So just remember, like when you're picking, practice that. When you're picking your chords, make sure that your thumb is going to that root note. Okay? The sounds that you're looking for. I'll do a lesson later on how to play bars and why knowing where that root note is so important with bars, and then I'll also do one with scales and why knowing where that root note is so important in playing scales as well. Okay. But anyway, try that first. Simple open chords and practice moving around using that thumb to those root notes, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, have a good day.